Thank you. I'll just do a bit of an introduction on the project. So it's a great pride that we can present this to you today. It's 13th Beach Surf Life Saving Club in Bowen Heads. It's the opportunity to present a small projects. In this small project is just a second, I'm starting. Well, the profession understands small projects to be the size and the scale, but this sort of project has a large impact on the club, the community and the place that it's in. So 13th Beach the existing conditions of the site were, so I don't know if you're aware of 13th Beach, it's outside of Ocean Grove and Bowen Heads. It's between the growth area of Armstrong Creek and Bowen Heads, and quite a growth zone. The club has been located in this space since the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, and it's actually not very well known because it's hidden behind the dunes. The patrol station is on the beach side, and the clubhouse was on the opposite side of the road. So there was a disconnect between the club and the ocean that it served, and it also, by its nature, was a single-storey building built behind the dunes. You can see it here on the top image, that people drove past and didn't even realise there was a surf club there. So there was this disconnect with people who were, I guess, the role of the surf club, which is to protect the beach and provide a service to the public, and part of that role is people knowing they're there and actually knowing that that's the patrolled beach, and this is where we encourage people to swim. There's been a number of drownings on beaches and over the summer, and so we're also aware of that. The other component of this is that the site was very, very contained. Obviously, it's on coastal land, and the requirements of this site were to not increase the footprint at all. So we had a brief where we had to increase capacity and functionality but within the constraints of MACA and the siting guidelines, you're not meant to obviously make a building more visible largely visible, and that's obviously part of the goal of this project, was actually making the club visible to its community. So they were the challenges that were presented. The detailed challenges were the club's grown massively. This is sort of walking through what was originally the sort of social room, the training area, the gathering space, for putting out patrollers, dealing with the nippers. You can see here this was prepped for the summer when we were there. You can see in the background they had nowhere to display all the trophies and so forth that the club presents, so they're all piled everywhere. The club was unable to really operate, and you can see in the gear room the other major part of the brief was that they had no space for their multiple ships, multiple boats and equipment that they used. So we were trying to get amenity and facility for this club that's probably doubled in size in the last 10 years without increasing its footprint, and largely with making it while bringing it up and making it visible, not making it dominate the landscape. So this is as it sits today. So you can see the building in itself hasn't changed in footprint. We've put in a new upper level over that original club area, which has been sort of slightly increased through some overhangs, and we've changed the roof line of the gear area to make the space more usable. So you can see the footprint here. One of the goals was to work with the existing. So if you look at the ground floor plan, this is all existing. We gutted this space a little bit. There was a bar in this space. This part of the work hasn't been done yet. The budget, hopefully the club will do that over time as a training space for the nippers in this area. The kitchen has been retained, and we have retained all of the back of house with some minor changes, really to just allow the structure. So we didn't want to have to refit bathrooms, spend money, $1.2 million, needed to spread as far as possible and get as much as possible for the club. So we worked really closely with the engineer to load every single wall on the ground floor, so we didn't have to change the footings at all. So we didn't have to go in gut the bathrooms and spend money on the bathrooms. They'll do that one time in the future. There'll be a future project for them to upgrade them over time. They're 20 years old, so that'd be nice to be able to do it, but it obviously couldn't fit into the budget. And then the other thing we did was the original roof was curved in dune form, so we straightened up the skillion, basically exactly the same pitching point, but what that allowed us to do was create some additional space that we've brought in car hoists to bring up the boats into the upper level and really utilise that space and maximise the available space that, without increasing that footprint. And then we've created an upstairs social training space with decks and that now provides the club. So that brings the club rooms out of the dunes and makes it visible. This was obviously always going to be somewhat a controversial component because we all know that development on the coastline, has a two-edged sword. People don't necessarily like to see it. So one of the challenges here, this is a community. Sorry? 2 more minutes. This is a community I live in, and I interact with a lot of the surfers. And so one of the great reactions that I've got is because that's really where the building's visible now, is that they sort of have given really positive feedback for it. So it's been a great outcome for the club, but also I think it's been really well appreciated. This is from the rear of the site, so as you can see, all of that ground floor was existing. We replaced some windows, put some security blinds, but really try to make the project as robust as possible while providing, the new social spaces for the club with really robust materials. You can see here how the gear space here works, our connection to the beach, and this new open space that is really flexible and useful for the club, and achieved everything they were looking for within that, the constraints of the budget, but also the constraints of the site that we're looking at. So, thank you.